Welcome to Mishna Gadi Demai. Today we'll be learning Mishna Gadi Demai, Perek Vav, Mishnah Gimel and Daled. So let's start. So Hamkabel Olav Chavar. Someone who accepts upon himself to be chayva must keep the following. So, 1. Einoi meichel am haaretz lach v'yavesh. He must not sell any food to an am haaretz, even whether it's wet or dry, because tomei can happen when it's wet, but dry because the dry can also get tomei sometimes. But he must also not buy from an am haaretz food that was once wet. It can be dry now, but it had to have never been wet, because if it's wet, then you can't sell it. It could have been when it was wet, it could have had tomei touched in it. Even if it's dried, the tomei's still there. But he must not be a guest in the house of an am haaretz, since he may end up becoming tomei there. Nor may he have an am haaretz as a guest when the am haaretz is wearing his own clothing. And then it gets on and says, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer. Rabbi Yehuda says, but what is he arguing, or is about some of those things, or is he just adding on? Let's see. Af lo yagde behema daka. He must also answers a question. He's adding on. He must also not raise small domestic animals, sheep and goats and cows in Eretz Israel. Small domestic animals are animals just keeping a farm. He must not freely vow or act with light-headedness, because a person who takes many vows will likely transgress some of them, and he could break them. He must not allow himself to become tomei through contact with the dead body. He must serve the Torah scholars in the Beis HaMedrash. But the sages, the Chachamim, said to him, these things shouldn't be included, because they're very unrelated to Tumah. Maybe the one maybe that could have a difference, but the Chachamim say they all aren't included. So that's what we're expecting, because they mean. Mishnah Daled. Hanach toimin loichi v'oisam chachamim lahafres ela כדי תרומת מעשר וחלה. Bakers who are themselves trusted regarding my trust, but bought grain from an Am Ha'aretz, like brought the flour's already made, were required by the rabbis to separate, to give off maasros and tithes from the challah. They could take either from the flour or the challah that they made, the bread that they made from the flour. Einon Rasha'in Limka Es Hadmai. Shopkeepers who sell in small quantities to profit considerably are not permitted to sell demai without first taking out the maasroses and the trimmer. So they have to separate the tithes before they should sell. Kol Hamas Pin Bamida Gasa Rasha'in Limkar Es Hadmai. All those who sell with a large measure, i.e. they'll sell like tons and tons, or they sell like a big box full of flour, or like a few, or challah, anything, are permitted to sell the mai without tithing. So they don't have to take the tithe from it, because large measurements, you won't get the measurements exact. Like you won't get it exactly 100,000 grams. It could be off a bit. Kagain hasitainai semai what? For example, wholesalers and grain sellers would, yeah. Thank you. See you tomorrow.